Welcome back to ESO Live. I'm Jessica Folsom.
I'm
Who's
Gina.
this?
I'm Gina. We're here again.
We are your ESO community managers, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. Let's take a look at the schedule. So glad to be back. We're back after, it's been a couple weeks, yeah?
Regular 2 weeks, yep.
So first up, we're going to talk some combat balance changes that are coming to the ESO Morrowind public test server with creative director Rich Lambert and lead combat designer Eric Roble.
After that, we are going to go through sort of your first day in Morrowind and what you can expect. Rich is going to stick around for that, and we'll be swapping in Vardenfell's zone lead, Zeb Cook.
Good deal.
And as always, we will have one giveaway throughout the show, sometime through the show. So you'll have to stick around and see when it is.
You're just going to have to wait and see.
So let's kick things off with the latest news and updates. First up, we announced our early access for ESO Morrowind. That starts on May 22nd.
That's for PC players who have pre-ordered or pre-purchased the digital upgrade of ESO Morrowind, and also those who purchased the physical collector's edition. The only catch with that is you have to fill out a form. It's on our website on elderscrollsonline.com. If you just search for the news for the early access, the form or the link to the form is in that article. So do that, you'll get confirmation
Do it
pretty
now.
quickly. Do it now. And yeah, that's the thing. Just a reminder, the base game patch, Update 14, which we sometimes refer to it as, that is also going live for all PC players on May 22nd in about a week and a half. So
we have our last incremental next week for PTS.
Yep, last PTS incremental is next Monday. Rich and Roble are going to be kind of talking through some of the changes that we'll be implementing then. In just a few minutes when we stop talking. Also on Monday, there's going to be some changes to
PTS.
the players that have access to Morrowind content. So we need to basically test out how things are going to go for early access. So only the people who have pre-purchased the digital upgrade of Morrowind are going to have access to Morrowind on PTS come next Monday. But everybody else will still be able to log on the regular base game PTS, test out all the changes, go through that content. If you've already created a Warden character, you can still play it, just not in Vardenfell, not in the trial, not in Battlegrounds.
Yep.
So
we definitely encourage you to do that. There's going to be some changes coming up, which, as Gina said, we're going to talk about in a little bit here.
Also on Monday, more patches for everybody. We're going to have a live patch on PC. It's only fixing two things. The quest giver for the Vardenfell kind of pre-quest that went live
has
earlier
found his
this week.
pants.
Found his pants. He's growing in some hair. He's found his voice. So that's all getting fixed. Also, there was an issue where a lot of items suddenly lost their capitalization and they were all lowercase. And we have a fix that we're testing for that too.
So rejoice if you're a fan of grammar.
Or a fan of pants. Either way. Yeah. Everyone except Rich.
So I think that's it for this week's news. Did we forget anything?
I don't think so.
Nope.
I mean, there's a lot going on, but I know everyone really wants to hear what Rich and Roble have to say about PTS.
All right, so let's dive in and talk to these guys. Hi,
Here
guys.
they are.
Hey!
All right, so like we mentioned, we have a lot of stuff going in for next week's PTS patch, which is going to be our last one before early access happens. There's a lot more kind of gameplay and combat changes that are going in just based on a lot of feedback we've been receiving and a lot of data we've collected. So why don't you guys talk about some of the things that are going in there?
Sure. So I think first
I'm
off,
glad Rich said sure and not like,
said
no, we're done. That's it.
We're good.
Changed our mind.
We're just hanging on this couch. Comfortable.
I think the first thing that I want to touch on is, again, to reiterate a little bit more of our process and kind of how we go about, taking the feedback and how we monitor the feedback and those kinds of things. We definitely see a lot of feedback on the forums that are like, holy cow, you're moving too fast.
Holy cow.
Do this slower.
That's what they say.
Gee willikers.
I'm trying hard.
I think Kev
no
Dewitt
F-bombs.
said G Willikers,
He
I
did,
think.
something like that. And another group is like, you're not moving fast enough, go faster. And one of the most important things for us is to make sure that we are making the right changes for the game. And we are doing it in a as measured way as possible, where we can do the back end math on it and come
Have
up
the
with
time for testing.
what we think the results are going to be, and then prove those results. One of the things we saw on PTS, the very first PTS build that we put out, of course, everybody threw their hands up in the air and we're like, oh my God, the world is ending. And then over the subsequent weeks, we've seen DPS actually go up and up and up and up as players have started playing with various builds and gear sets
Kind of
and champion
readjusted.
points. And so we've been able to take that, look at that, and then start to really dig into what the major changes are that we want to make.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Didn't you have a great analogy for this?
I did actually.
He was trying to remember there. You saw the smile. He's like, how am I going to say this again?
Really proud
Share
of
it with
this.
the class, please.
So it's in terms of going too fast versus too slow. It's kind of about using the right tool for the job. So if you have a significant change to gameplay, that's kind of further away. So you want to use more of a 9-iron to get into the green.
We're talking golf, you guys.
Golf.
I'm a bit of a golf nut.
Yeah. So
I get it.
you want to make that big leap, right? You're going to need to make that big large change, and then from there you're close to the target, so you can make little tiny increments. If your change is making the gameplay like this, and it's a very large difference, you're gonna have to, if you're just making little tiny putts, right, you're gonna be putting for a really long time. Whereas some changes, we just need to tweak something here or there, just a little tiny bit. So then we'll use sort of a smaller, more incremental approach. So it depends on what our specific design goal, or what the feedback is, what the particular metagame is in terms of how we're adjusting and how dramatic of a change that we're making.
Gina's dying over here. Conway's in the background
I'm looking
making
at our
faces.
sound guy over there like,
So
killing me.
yeah, the thing that's most important to us, the North Star, is that the game is fun. That's what drives all our decisions, and it's just a matter of how far we need to go to get to that specific direction, that location.
I'm laughing, but I think it is a good analogy.
Yeah,
it does
it
work.
is.
It does.
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at this guy over here.
at the clown in the background.
Conway's funny.
So we want to talk about changes?
Yeah.
PTS changes coming up next build?
Yep. We have some really good ones. This change, this specific update, and then the stuff that'll go right to live is sort of a culmination of all the feedback that we've gotten, and we've made a bunch of really small changes, but we've had more time at this point now to see a bunch of parses that other players have been having. We've had more time to do parses internally, and we've been making some small tweaks. So I'd say the most impactful one, I guess we'll just start off with that one.
Light and heavy attacks?
Yeah, light and heavy
All right,
attacks.
yep.
So what we have coming up in this PTS is a more clear definition of a light attack versus a heavy attack. Because you've always gotten the resources from the heavy attacks, and that makes them very unique and different. But they have that longer charge up time, and then they also do a little bit, or they do more damage as well. So in terms of the utility versus the damage, with this update, it's now more clear that light attacks are more damage focused, and that the heavy attacks are more resource restore focused. So we've increased the amount of resources that you get from doing a heavy attack, and reduce the damage of the heavy attack, and then the light attacks now deal more damage. So if you're trying to do really high damage, you're going to want to do a light attack weave, whereas if you're trying to get resources back, you're going to want to do a couple heavy attacks, or do heavy attacks with some abilities mixed in there.
Right. Well, that wasn't the only thing we did with heavy attacks.
And then, yeah,
did some adjustments on the length of time.
Yeah, and specifically the like the bow and the destruction staff, they had really large charge times, which we got a lot of feedback, and we agree with that playing internally as well, that it felt slower for the pace of combat that we wanted, based on how long it took to use these attacks, and the fact that they're more important now to the gameplay than they were before. So we made those faster, so it doesn't take as much time to do those. But then we proportionally adjusted the damage and the resource restores so that you're getting about the same amount per second as you are from the heavy attacks from the other types of weapons.
And players can test this on PTS next week.
It'll be
Yep.
next week's PTS,
Great.
and ultimately, like Eric said, we wanted to distinguish the two because there was a little bit of nebulousness in between them. Is that even a word?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It is.
And we wanted to speed up a little bit the regeneration rates. You know, that was a big piece of feedback that we got from the forums and from players and whatnot. Is they wanted to participate in the fast part of combat,
Right.
is what they say all the time. And this kind of helps speed that up a little bit more.
Okay. So let us know what you think next week. All right, and what else? More.
Yeah, so we had a couple of class-based things. For the DK, we looked at the costs of all the different abilities, and in sort of the first round, we had
And that's
just
the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, sorry, Dragon Knight.
No, it's okay.
Yes, good
For
point.
anybody who doesn't know, DK.
Yeah. So in our initial numbers, we were looking very specifically with the damage rotations of each of the different classes, and adjusting some tweaks, like you saw the cost reduction to the whip was one we had done in the first round. So in this one, we were looking more at the utility and defensive abilities and those kinds of things across all the different classes. And the DK were their average costs were a little bit higher actually, and whereas the restore rate of all the classes was pretty similar. So 3 abilities that you'll see in this next PTS coming up is Fiery Grip, Spiked Armor, and Inhale. All have cost reductions coming up.
Cool. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah. Basically, I mean,
We're waiting for the applause.
that brings them more in line with the
More in line.
other classes,
Yeah.
and helps sort of when you're not just doing a damage rotation, you may be having some resource issues, trying to use all these different abilities together. So this sort of more evens the playing field for them.
Okay. Any other classes getting changes with the next PTS?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
One of the ones that we've heard a lot of, because we mentioned it a little while ago.
Mentioned but didn't promise, I believe.
Yes, I think that is the clear note there. Is Grim Focus. So we went and we looked at Grim Focus
For the
some more
Nightblades.
for the Nightblades. And one of the kind of clunky parts of the rotation was after you activated the assassin part of the ability, you had to recast it. And so you would go through your rotation, recast it, go through your rotation, and recast it.
And since it only took 4 light attacks to trigger
all the
it, you were
time.
using that every 4 abilities, and it felt kind of bad to recast it because you were sort of just refreshing the buff. Like you weren't actually actively like, oh, I'm making a cool thing happen. Like the Warden's rotation, where he's got the explosion ability from the shock, feels pretty good to recast because you're getting like a really high damage ability
that
coming.
burst, yeah.
Whereas this is just giving you the potential to cast another ability, which isn't quite as like, hey, that was really cool, right?
Yep.
Just like, oh, I'm just casting this over and over again. It doesn't feel that great.
So basically what we did was made it so that you can cast it multiple times or fire off the assassin part of it multiple times within that buff. So basically the way it would go now is you cast it once to get the buff on you. You do your light attacks or heavy attacks, you can fire it off, and then you can continue on with your light and heavy attacks, and then fire it off again. You can do that as many times as you can in the 20-second window, and then you have to reapply the buff.
Right.
So it's less globals that way, it's less clunky. Now you're getting more of that sustained damage. Because we did that, though, it's a little bit easier to get off. We actually increased the number of light attacks.
Yeah, so it's going to be 5 light
5
attacks instead of
Instead of
4.
4, yep.
It still ends up being a pretty nice DPS increase, and yeah, with our parses, both internally and externally, Nightblades were a little bit lower, so this helps,
brings it up.
Helps bring them up, and it just makes it more fun to play.
So even with the 5, you found overall it
Yep.
increased DPS.
It did. It just makes the rotation more fluid.
And with the light attack, or the damage going up as well.
Yep. Light
Okay.
attacks, they're pretty significant in our parses now, which is pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Cool. Alrighty.
Warden.
Yeah, so an ability we've gotten a lot of feedback with, which is in some ways similar to the Grim Focus, just in terms of like the rotation and the feel of it, is the Swarm ability. That's the one where you throw a bunch of insects on them and it does damage over time. And specifically the Fetcher Infection morph, it gives you such a big damage bonus, the 75%, that people felt as if they always had to cast it twice to get that really big damage bonus going. So what we did was lower that damage bonus, but then increase the base damage of the ability. So that's nice in that you're getting more effect without having to double cast it.
Yeah,
And
to
also the other morph, which wasn't quite as popular, which was the growing swarm, where it would travel to additional targets, that one's now more powerful because the base damage of the ability is just higher.
Right.
But we kept the balance the same, so the damage per second of the ability should still be the same whether you're single or double casting it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a pretty good change. We have, in terms of just like Warden DPS overall, we do have additional plans coming for the live update, but not for the PTS.
Yeah, we've got to get them up just a little bit more. So this is a good start.
Yeah.
It will definitely help.
But it helps with the rotation feel, so you're not like, oh, I'm pressing this twice to use the same ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some comments about Magicka Warden specifically maybe being a little low.
So that'll go
Yeah.
up some.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Is that it for the changes coming
No.
in PTS?
There's more.
No. There's more. And if you call now, I'll tell you about them. Yeah, this is a nice little sneak peek. So a big piece of feedback that we hear is that stamina players have a hard time surviving in trials. So this is an example of more of an incremental change. So we've adjusted the Blade Cloak ability, which gives, currently it's 20% damage reduction from area effect attacks. So it's specifically really good when you're in a trial situation and there's lots of explosions going off all over the place. You know, especially your melee, right? You might not necessarily have time to avoid all of them, or you know, you're gonna get a big damage loss if you have to run all the way out and all the way back in. So just to sort of give them some more staying power, we've increased this ability. It's going to be like a 25% instead of 20. Yeah. And we also had the dungeon team go through and look at some of their abilities, all the abilities actually of the trial bosses and stuff like that, to make sure that they were properly tagged as area effect abilities, so that this is going to be reducing the damage from them.
Oh, cool.
So, you know, this is also, though, like a very powerful ability in PvP. So that's part of the reason we made more of an incremental change with this, is because it, you know, it's already pretty useful, and it's also, you know, it's like doing AoE damage, and you know, it's giving you expedition if you morph it right. So it is a very powerful ability, and we don't want to overload it. But yeah, we're really excited to see what people can do with this.
Cool. Okay.
So we have, we do have
Questions?
other changes and adjustments going into PTS that doesn't affect combat and gameplay. Like there's things for the trial, for battlegrounds, what have you. We're just kind of focusing on combat right now.
Yeah, this is more just the balance tweaks and tunings that we're doing.
And you have additional things going into the patch on early access on May 22nd.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
live stuff. These
Yeah.
ones didn't make the next PTS build, but they're definitely things we're going to hit. So one of them, which we get a lot of feedback on, is sorcerers being really high on the damage meters. They can do so much more damage than everybody else. So we're looking specifically at pet sorcerers, specifically at the scamp. So we're digging through that. There will be adjustments on that because, yeah, we agree they are a little bit too high. Eric already talked about the warden stuff. We're going to improve the damage there. We're also looking at siphoning strikes.
I see chat is like, what about Nightblade?
So we're looking at
Got it.
siphoning strikes. We want to make it so that it is a little bit more rewarding. It's still, you know, it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, so two of the things with the siphoning strikes change. One was that some people have had some trouble using it when they refreshed it right before it was about to end. So it's like, hey, there's 19 seconds left, I want to refresh this buff, and then they end up not getting the resource restore at the end.
Right.
So that's one of the primary things we want to adjust. And then the other thing we'll be adjusting is making so that you don't require quite as many light attacks to get
there.
a big bonus out of it. So we took a lot of the resource restore out of the light attack and put it into that ending bonus. We did want to keep sort of the theme and the feel of Nightblade and siphoning of I'm stealing resources from the target. So you are still going to get some reward for constantly light attacking the target, but to further the goal of making this more of a universally useful Nightblade skill and making it so that if you're, you know, a tank or a healer, you're not doing a lot of light attacks, this is still a useful ability to slot. You'll get quite a sizable bonus at the end of Magicka or Stamina, depending on how you morph it.
Cool. Okay.
And then because we're changing a lot of things, balance-wise, we're going to do what we generally do when we make a lot of changes, and that's reduce the cost of respecs for a period of time. and then it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks, and then we'll put it back to where it is normally, so people can play with respecking their characters around a little bit more to see.
Yes, be like, well, let me try out this build, let me try out this build, or you know, I've gotten some different gear. Let me see how, you know, this resource regen stuff happens to work with these different abilities and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool combinations and possibilities, and you know, we want people to be able to experiment and try them out.
Great. There's a few people in chat asking about Templars. Do you feel like they're in a good place right now, or are you considering any additional changes for them?
They've done pretty well on our DPS parses. There was one of the changes we didn't include on that slide because it's a little bit minor, but might as well say it was with the Nova ability. There's kind of a long delay from when you like call it down to when it actually hits the target. Yeah. So we've adjusted that so it'll be a little bit faster in landing. So that helps, you know, if the target's moving and you're trying to fire it and actually hit the moving target, and then also
We'll actually hit them now, yeah.
Yeah, and then your allies can be quicker to get in there and like use the synergy, which does a pretty good amount of burst damage, especially if you've morphed it in the right way. So it should just make it a little bit better and a little bit more exciting.
Okay, and of course, possibly more changes after launch as needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one of the things we're really excited to see too is Battlegrounds is a very different universe, right? And like the balance being tighter is a lot more important because it's a very small contained environment, right? It's not like, well, he had 20 people and we only had 6, so it's like, well, was that ability overpowered or not? You know, the number of people was more important than you know, what abilities and skills in some situations.
Right.
So since this is a very tight area, you can see 4 people fighting and what they can do against 4 people. So we already have a lot of balance changes lined up and planned for, you know, for 15. So yeah,
that's the update after
Morrowind.
Yeah,
after Morrowind. So yeah, there'll be lots of cool changes and tweaks for all the classes.
Okay. So yeah, everyone asking about, well, what about Dragon Knight? What about additional things for us? There you go.
Yep, they're there. You'll see them see
Yeah.
them in the patch notes.
All right. So, oops, didn't mean to do that. Talking to myself. Is everyone just waiting for me to pull up a question or something?
Yeah,
I figured you were going to ask me a question.
No, that's okay.
Like awkward silence.
I didn't know if there were any
Gina's getting ready.
questions. Yeah, it looked like maybe you were pulling up a question. If not, we can move on to the next segment.
Patch notes now. You know what? Still working on them.
I dared
still
Gina
working on 'em.
to make a special patch note for next week.
Oh, I already screenshotted it.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Screenshotted and
Ooh,
saved.
special patch
Ready
note.
to go. There are some console players asking for an update on the trial situation.
Sure. So we do have some fixes, potential fixes coming in for the update 14, the Morrowind. We're going to have to evaluate those in a live environment. But we think things should get better, and we're going to continue to stay on this. I mean, it's important. We want to make sure we get it done and get it fixed.
Okay.
There was a question I saw from Ring-a-Ding.
Ding. Missed a ding at the end.
He was asking, or kind of saying that currently Magicka Nightblade is the only class that can't restore stamina through class skills. Can you guys talk about that? So
I mean, you can get the Morph of Siphoning Strikes that gives you stamina back every time you light attack, so you will have to pay a little bit of stamina up front, but you know, the total amount of stamina that you're getting for activating that ability is pretty good. I mean, I think he's talking about potentially being able to, you know, convert one resource to the other, and I mean, we don't necessarily always want to homogenize all the classes so that, like, well, just because these guys have this, you know, means that I get it too, right? Like, not everyone has an execute, like not everyone necessarily is going to have that capability. And we made some pretty nice buffs, I would say, to Magicka Nightblade with this update. So, I mean, we'll certainly keep that in mind, but I'm happy with the changes that we've made so far. But you know, we'll continue to make it better and better.
Sure. What about armor changes, either to light armor or heavy armor? No, we made some things previously. I don't know if
we made a
kinda
lot of
just
changes.
staying put for a little bit.
And really the big one was more on the sustain side. We definitely want to evaluate those and see how those work out, especially with the light and heavy attack changes, see how those work. and then just continue to monitor and evaluate.
Sure. I know we've seen some people asking about the grouping tool and any fixes coming for that. There were a handful of fixes in the last PTS patch for grouping tool. It consisted of like, shoot, I'm blanking. People not porting all together, or like you go there, but then you
get teleported
outside.
Yeah.
But those changes wouldn't have been reflected on console yet.
No, they'll be in the
Morrowind
update.
Morrowind update, yeah.
There was something else. Weren't we talking about doing a like a forced reset on something? Were we talking about it? Yeah.
Points?
Whatever we were talking about yesterday, I think. Or the day before.
So because we made so many changes to the champion system, like, you know, some things got adjusted a little bit, some things got completely removed, we added new things to it. So there were just so many changes, we decided to just refund everyone's champion points for free.
And that'll happen when they log in, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. We've been working on too, like having like a little message pop up to be like, hey, your champion points are reset, by the way, just so you don't like log in and you just start fighting stuff. You're like, hey, why am I
I will do that. I'll forget. And
Heads up, in case you want to like take a screenshot or anything.
That's right.
Do that ahead of time.
Yep.
Yeah, and also with the champion system, just the way you spend points is going to be a little bit
it's a
different.
lot different.
Because each
now.
star you spend, right, you're getting sort of less and less of a benefit. So it's not, you know, currently on live, it's like, well, just throw it 100 points in a couple things, and it's a little bit different now. So yeah, we wanted to let people sort of play around with that, with the free points.
Sure. And anyone who missed it, we are doing cheap respec for the other skills too.
So you can play around with new builds.
Yes. And sorry, there's
lots of questions.
There's lots of chat.
You guys chat amongst yourselves. I'm just gonna do tunnel vision.
Try and
here.
focus in on the chat.
Okay, so after this, we're going to take a look at more of Morrowind. For anybody who hasn't read our schedule or wasn't here when we started, we're going to take a look at some of the first things that you can do when you log in, either on May 22nd, early access, or on June 6th. On launch day.
There's a lot of cool options. I don't even know what I want to do first. It's like, well, I really want to make a warden, but I want to play the content, but I want to do battlegrounds.
I want to do battlegrounds. Yeah.
Yeah, so if
what
you're
I'm
starting
looking
with a
forward
brand new
to.
character, or if you're going in with your existing characters, there's a lot of different options and ways you can go about it. And we'll also look at how do you get to Morrowind.
Sure.
Because there's a few different routes.
Yep. Zeb will talk us through it all.
Oh, the bolt escape.
The streak thing?
The streak thing, yes. Wanted to touch on that, Leslie.
Okay.
Yeah, so the fix we did was in a specific isolated case of we'd identified this is a path in which this bug can occur. We weren't certain that it was going to fix every single case of it, so we're still tracking down some extra ways in which this can happen. It should be happening less now.
A lot less frequently.
Than it was before, but we are continuing to work on it.
Okay. All right. Do we want to dive into... Well, actually, you want to do a giveaway?
I would love to, but I'm waiting for...
Working on it?
Things are not working.
Okay.
No worky. Here we go.
What's the special word?
Well, and what should we give away?
I don't think we've even decided what we're giving away yet. So let's do that first.
Okay.
What would you guys like to give away?
How
What
about
are
a
our
random article of ESO clothing?
Okay. That works.
We have T-shirts and we have some hoodies as well. We have
Pair of scissors?
We have different sizes for different things, but
Pair of scissors.
we can figure out whoever the winner is if we have your size, and if we don't, we can pick something else for you.
What should the word be?
Morrowind? No?
We've done that a bunch.
Given. How about
I'm just saying. It makes sense.
we'll do apple juice. 2 words.
Oh, totally.
Oh! I like
If you
that
don't
one.
know what I'm talking about, well, you missed a good joke earlier.
Oh.
All right, everyone's typing in Morrowind. No, it's apple juice.
Thanks,
Capitalization
Roble.
does not matter. All right, so this will be for...
There it goes. Look at all that apple juice in the channel.
Oh, man.
So much apple juice
Ooh.
happening. This will
Sounds
be
tasty.
for some
I can
sort
go
of...
for some apple juice of my own.
It was quite tasty.
This will go for
sure it
ESO
was.
T-shirt or hoodie.
Depending on what size we have available, we have some Alliance-specific T-shirts that are pretty cool. They got some nice designs on them, and so much apple juice. Oh, tasty! I know. I know, you guys. All right, so we'll give it a few more seconds. Any parting words before We choose a winner.
Oh,
Actually, wait, you need to get out of here.
Whoa!
Wow.
Gina, I thought we were friends.
We need to get Zeb
Zeb
in
in
here.
here?
Yeah.
We have to do a switcheroo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can stay.
I thought I was going to get out of this. No, I'm good.
Get out of here, Eric.
Wasn't
We're
that
good.
savage?
I mean, it
Come
was
on.
good
I
hanging
love
out
it.
with you guys.
Get out of here.
I'm sure we'll see you back soon.
I'm certain.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
certain.
I always like talking about balance.
You're not even on the screen anymore. he's just going to keep on talking all the way out the door.
Oh, giving us awkward looks.
Thanks, Robo.
So, Rich, while we're pulling up a winner here, where are you going to start when Morrowind launches?
If you want, you can lean in.
Where am I going to start? Well,
Yeah, like day one. Where are you going to start?
that's going to be awkward if I just lean on your shoulder, Gina.
Do you want to?
Just lean on my shoulder, put my head in there.
At the top of his head.
Just see the bald part of the head there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Probably the very first thing I'm going to do is jump into Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Bring
All
up
right, we
my
should choose a
Stamplar.
Look at
go to
all
town.
the entries. Where's my? Here's the button.
I think you should live stream that. You should
What?
totally live stream
Oh.
your first moments in Battlegrounds.
That would be fun.
Can I cuss?
You can do whatever you want. All right, so the winner for this giveaway is Jarl Ulf.
Jarl Ulf.
Ulf?
Ulf?
Ulf.
Something like that?
Congratulations,
All right.
our very own Jarl.
Congrats.
Let's send you a message. You guys can chat while I do this if
Okay.
you want.
Hi, Zeb. Thanks
Hello,
for joining
Zeb.
us.
Okay,
Hi.
so here's Zeb, who
I
just
thought I was
joined us.
Eric Roble from the future.
So, Zeb, for anybody who hasn't met you, you want to give us a quick rundown of what you do
So
here?
I'm Zeb Cook. I'm currently the zone lead for Vardenfell, or Morrowind as everybody else knows it. We all know it as Vardenfell inside.
Well, Vardenfell is the area.
Wardenfall on the inside.
And so basically I've been leading the team to basically do all the content and get it all put together. And it's almost done, and I think my stress level is almost done too.
You need some
Slowly
apple juice.
reducing.
I need some apple juice.
It's going to turn into excitement when it gets launched,
will.
huh?
Oh yeah, then the panic really starts.
Now, Zeb, you've been in the industry for a long time, right?
Oh yeah, I'm ancient history. I've been doing video games since '94 and games before that since it's embarrassing to say, but a long time. And so, but I've been here for quite a string now.
Yep, long time.
And worked on was a lead on Hrothgar before this, and so now I got to deal with the biggest zone we've put together yet, and I'm not sure we ever want to do that again, but we will.
All right, so again, on May 22nd, we're kicking off our early access event. So if you have purchased the digital upgrade for Morrowind, or if you have a physical collector's edition, you'll be able to play early on PC on May 22nd, and then we'll be doing our big launch on all platforms for everybody on June 6th. So when people start off the first time in Morrowind, there's a whole new tutorial
There
to
is.
go through. You have a character setup that you
I
are going
do.
to kind of walk everyone through.
I'm just going to play through the tutorial as a
Please
brand new
do.
character, and Zeb is going to
Babble
Talk-
aimlessly.
talk
I'm gonna
while
just-
I
yeah.
walk around.
So while he's getting so when you start the tutorial, basically you're on a ship to Vardenfell, and we have a little bit of like very tutorial things, like here's how you look around. Oh look, here's a guy. You can listen to him, and then basically, as you learn, like hey, I can look left, I can look right. I'm in a ship. It's moving.
I'm
And
on a
then
boat.
you might want to look back to some.
Our,
Looking around.
Yeah.
our existing character is going to be able to play through this new
So
tutorial?
with existing characters, when you log in, basically you'll have the option. You can there'll be boats that you can take to get to Morrowind. There's also the Way Shrine will be unlocked so that you can basically Way Shrine directly in. If you've got a friend there already, you'd be able to jump to them. So you'll have a number of ways you can get there. But then bad things happen for the tutorial people on the way, and the next thing you know, you're not going to Morrowind quite how you expected. So.
I can't hear the dialogue, so I may click through some of it.
So basically,
quicker than normal.
you've been captured at this point by as Naryu, a fan favorite character will explain, you've been captured by slavers. And
A prisoner in Elder Scrolls?
never
That never
happens.
happens.
How did that ever happen? I don't know why. And
So you do have to create a new character for this one. When you create a new character, can you choose to go to either the Wailing
You
prisons
can't.
or you
No,
can't?
with
Okay.
a new character, basically all the new characters go to this tutorial.
Okay.
But this doesn't mean that the Wailing Prison is gone forever. Basically, if you return back to the rest of One Tamriel, because the Wailing Prison is all about getting on the main story, there's a mysterious hooded figure will show up, and that will kind of start you on that whole process.
Great.
All right.
So it's a tutorial. We wanted to teach people how to do combat. One of the big goals was we want to make this tutorial a little bit kind of like straight up instructive, but but not overload you with a lot of things. So we're keeping this fairly quick moving. We don't want to have an hour in a tutorial before you get to go out and run around and have fun. Not that tutorial isn't fun, but let's face it, we all want to do what we want to do.
Want to get into the meat of things.
Do you
right.
have the option to skip this if you want?
You can. There's actually, I chose the let's do the combat
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
But there's an option where you can say, nope, I know how to fight, just let me go. And so
Right.
you can do that.
And that's available to anybody who has played a tutorial in the game. If
Right.
you played the Wailing Prison tutorial, you'd be able to skip with your character. If you're brand new and you've never played the tutorial, well, we want you to at least have some basic idea. So he's going to run around. You can run around. You can do some exploring right here, or you can get going. You can search stuff. We want to make sure that you have the
Sorry.
Oh, I'm glad
options.
this is
He
still a
can't
great
resist.
place to get
He's a
lockpicks.
kleptomaniac.
I like to run around and take everything I possibly can. So
So
Gotta get those lockpicks in the tutorial.
that's right.
Zeb,
Yeah.
I think you would make Res Rider's day if you said hello to him.
what?
It's a Res Rider.
Res Rider.
Hi, Res Rider. How are you? Nice to see you
He's a
somewhere.
fan.
So basically, you get some basic kind of like tutorial. We want to show you this is how you sneak. So we basically show you stop, sneak, go downstairs, watch out, a bear trap. Oh, I just jump over it usually.
All right, we get to see how bad I am at lock
Yeah, and then there's
Without
lockpicking.
sound?
Now the great thing that we don't tell people about this one is that
can't
here
hear
is this
anything.
lockpicking tutorial, but look down at the bottom. You could just break this lock open right
Oh,
away.
at 100%, yeah.
Doing it in hard mode, no sound.
So now you have the key, and you've leveled up because
Look at that.
we want you to learn how to do some of the basic things here, and Rich can't play with an underpowered character after all.
What? Are you saying that Templars are strong?
No, I'm saying you want
They're awesome.
abilities.
Oh yes, I definitely want abilities. And I'll put it in my spammable spot because that's my spammable.
And he has way more technique on this than I do. So then you come out here and you send over to this other hut over here, but you probably want to, this is a secret that we don't tell people, but it's this middle hut
we
here.
are now.
You
We are,
might
yeah.
want to stop here and try out your new lockpicking skills.
Lockpick, no sound. Got
Yeah,
it.
well,
can
you
do it.
whiner.
Rich,
We're all rooting for you.
Come on, it's an easy lock.
Wow.
Hear the sound. Okay, I made it.
Savage.
You get to pick the next one.
So I don't think there are any more. But basically, you want to go in here because there's just a whole bunch of useful items to pick up. If you didn't ignore those weapon racks, that would probably be useful.
Ooh, let's take all of them.
Yeah.
Because why not?
And you can promptly, at this point, proceed to try and fill your inventory with as much
So
stuff
these
as
are some
possible.
good beginner's weapons.
Yep.
Yeah, these are all, we're going to let you take a lot of these because when they're not exactly what we call valuable.
Or if you're rich, you take everything.
Everything. Okay, I'll equip something.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
But you made me go get all this cool stuff.
I want you to see all the options, though, first.
All right, let me at least.
Put some clothes on first.
So go on
least some
out,
boots.
go on out, and let's get back to the tutorial or we'll never get out of here.
This way. All right.
So you come down here, and now you know basically how to lockpick. And you can do these huts in either order. You could go to this one first, and then you could go over and do the lockpick one. There's no set order, because again, we wanted to kind of give you the, you go, make your choices. But you find the drunk guard, and
Got no clothes on.
and you
Great
get
sword.
And you find his sword, because we wanted to make sure that no matter what, if you didn't go into that hut, we want to make sure that you still had a weapon. So, because it is kind of difficult and unfun to do the rest without. And then this guy shows up.
Trying to ruin your day. Look at that.
Well, especially when you're looking at the floor. And you can defeat him. And if you go in the basement here, yeah, you don't have to again. But again, we want to reward exploration. There's
more goodies.
yeah, there's a whole bunch of armor down here.
More things to take.
More things.
More lockpicks.
Can't take those. You know, there was a shield laying there right beside it, though.
Zeb's like backseat player here.
I have played through this tutorial so
Few
many
times.
times.
I don't care about a shield. I got my
okay.
two-hander. I'm good.
So now moving on. So while you were doing this, Narya was off freeing all the rest of the slaves that had been captured, and then they tell you, "Oh, great, thank you." And by the way, she wants to talk to you. Yeah, I'm not doing.
You're not doing an Argonian voice?
I'm not doing.
Please try.
Yeah, it gets kind of rough on the throat real quick. But so at this point, we're kind of at this area. You're playing really where only the people on the tutorial are in this part of the tutorial, and so you had to get the gate key to get out of this section. And you can go ahead. You can.
You just want me to skip through?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we could. You know, I
Zeb's
don't
like,
even,
"Come on, keep
do
it
they
moving."
actually hear the voice stuff on the other end?
I don't know. CJ?
What's that?
Do they get to hear the VO?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh.
well, there you go.
Okay.
We'll
And
go-
then, so one of the things we did that's a little bit different here is that this side of the island that you come out on is actually open to other players, because there is another quest that takes place over here for players who have actually, you know, skipped the tutorial or have already done the other tutorial. We wanted them to have a chance to come to this island too. But so you might potentially see like higher level characters running around through this area at the same time. But anyway, now you're sent to gather up a couple of items, and this is pretty. And then you get an opportunity to fight more things. And you know, we're teaching you how to go find stuff, how to follow quest bins, and do a little more fighting. And I'm so unused to this because I always do dev commands just half the time.
So I figured
Dev hacks.
you could talk and I'll play. And it's perfect.
And so basically, you're going. You know, Narya says, "Meet me at this boat down at the other end of the stock after you collected
Let me get
these
my Kindle
items."
pitch. Darn.
He's confused. Yeah. Oh. And so Rich kills a bunch of things, and you can team up with other players. You know, you can team up with other players on the tutorial, or in this area, you could team up with just any other players you wanted. Because again, we want to make this as much to feel like the regular game experience as we can, while still teaching you stuff.
Yeah, and like Zeb said, as an existing player, you actually get sent back to this location to do this.
Okay.
So there's new players and existing players in the same space.
Yeah, that wasn't a coordination challenge at all. So now you're on the slaver ship, and you basically have to go find the slaver captain.
And just
so-
have tea with him, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Oh,
And that guy got blowed up,
smashed.
and this
Somebody
is not
asked
the captain, but the first mate shows up.
Somebody asked what?
If the shirt is a costume, I assume they mean,
That
the shirt you're wearing.
shirt was.
unless they mean Zeb's shirt. I don't know.
Yeah, this is my. Apparently, I was told I was going to be. You know, I could wear camo, and this was like my bad idea.
More stuff.
The shirt you have is a slave shirt that basically is kind of what we equip you with when you start out with. You could keep it forever if you wanted to.
Imagine it doesn't provide a whole lot of.
No, it doesn't do anything but look dirty.
Fire in the hole.
So as you're playing through the tutorial solo, you can actually continue to play solo after the tutorial if you like, all the way through all the Morrowind
Yep.
content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is.
She's vicious.
And then Narya shows up and she demonstrates why she's an assassin.
And she's like, let me help you with that.
And now you need to get off the boat because things are going bad. And so off you come. And at this point, you've essentially, except for the last bits here, you've finished the tutorial.
Yep.
So we wanted to, like I said, we wanted to get you through this quickly, give you enough that you felt like you learned things and you were ready to go, but not bog people down with a lot of like, oh, I got to go do this, I got to spend 40 minutes playing before I can join my friends.
Right.
You
Well,
wake
that makes
up.
sense. It's supposed to be just kind of a very high level taste of here's
it's teaching
Yeah, I
the
mean,
basics.
there's
how to MMO, and then get
yeah,
right
it's
into it.
it's how to fight, how to make sure that you know how to the basics of combat and a few other things. And there's still a lot more for players to learn, and
The
you're still going to
crafting.
get tutorial pop-ups and stuff that go on. But if we tried to teach you all of that stuff right up front, basically nobody would remember any of it.
And you'd be in there for 3 hours.
Yeah, and,
So
Zeb, you have some serious fans in chat.
Yeah.
Loving you, loving your beard.
hey, I even I should have shaved. But,
All right, so now
So now you're in
Satan.
Satanine, and if you
am.
look around a little bit before you go on, basically we wanted to give that, hey, I remember the old Morrowind game, and so Satanine is, yes, even though this is centuries before, it uses the Imperial Outpost kind of style, because, basically, it's not a complete isolationist piece of territory. And we even had this ex-Imperial who's running the census thing. And so for those players who remember Morrowind and how it was you came in and you had to give your birth sign and all this, we play a little bit with that. But now you meet the governor, and she's highly suspicious of you. But yeah, you get your stuff.
You get your skill point.
get your skill point. You get your
And
You
off
get your
you
skill
go.
point. You get you get a nice reward at the end of completing the quest. Which, if he opened up the thing, he could show you. But yeah, that's okay.
I'll get there.
All right.
I'll get there. I gotta pick skills. I'm sorry.
And Naryu shows up and says, "Hey, he helped me. Don't throw him in jail." And then you're kind of at this point, you're on your own.
Okay, well let's do this.
So from here, where do you guys want us to go?
Well, I
North?
figured.
East,
And
west?
I think they should tell us kind of where they want
Yeah,
us to
I
Yeah.
figured that I would run over to a Silt Strider.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah,
then,
show him off.
oops, let's go this way.
Take that quest though, real quick, just
No,
so we can
no,
launch
Rich,
that.
go do
bit
that.
of-
Just do this, do this. And the two choices for the Silt Strider are Nisus or
Saran.
Saran.
Okay. So,
So
where
which
do you
one do we
guys want
wanna
to
go?
go?
You have to
How-
wait.
how- are those
this
spelled?
is open to everybody.
There were some people asking with that skill point if they aren't able to
If
go
they
through
skip
the
it, they
tutorial.
still get the skill point.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Now, obviously, if you've done the Wailing Prison tutorial, you already got your skill point for doing this. So, you don't get another one just because.
Sounds like well. I mean,
So-
I can't count, but I see a lot more Sarans.
I do
than
too,
Nieces.
yeah.
Sarans? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Let's do it.
Hey,
And so what you're
I've
getting
seen
right at
this
the moment,
before.
this is kind of like the start of the main story for the zone. We wanted to kind of get you set up on that. You come out, there's a quest, and bingo, we can get you going on. But we're now going to promptly ignore that, which is basically what you can do. You don't have to go do
Go to our
this.
Silt Strider over here. Our
Yeah.
Silt Strider buddy.
So these big towers here that you'll see around with the Silt Strider standing, hey, you should show the Silt Strider.
I was gonna go up top, but
Oh,
I can go stand in the water and look way the
Ew.
f up.
yeah.
What do you mean, ew?
I always wonder what the butt of a flea looks like.
So these guys work as fast travel points, yeah?
Yeah, so one of the things, because the zone is so big, and pull up the map here, because the zone is so big, some of the towns are really, really far apart. And so, while we want people to run cross country and stuff because there's things to explore and discover, at the same time, we want to be able to kind of get you
said
to
Saran, right?
Yeah, a lot more
to
people
central areas. And so we're, this one takes you to Saran and kind of gets you moving around fairly quickly. But from there, you can kind of explore out and fill out all the gaps in between.
Okay.
And we have a few of these in the zone as well. So there's one that takes you up to Nisus.
There's the Silt Striders go to Nisus, Saran, Balmora, and I think Voss. And then there's also a boat service that will run you from, and they also take you to Vivek City too. But then there's also a boat service that'll take you to Sadrith Mora, which is way out on island on Yeah, don't jump there, I think.
But
So you log in day one. You can go anywhere in the zone. Yeah.
yep,
Yep.
anywhere you
Okay.
want. And I'm just
If you
gonna,
can run there, you can go there.
You can run there. You can take the silt striders. You know, if you unlock way shrines, you can use those, obviously. And so
I'll get
you
this
have
question
all
real
these
quick.
options
That's a
available
cool
to
outfit.
You actually get to earn that outfit.
Oh, awesome.
you. Yeah, that's so
No spoilers,
basically.
but-
We have things obviously that you get. We have a number of collectibles that you can acquire for doing content and playing the game, and so there's let me check my cheat sheet. We've got like 3 mementos, a pet, 2 costumes, one of which was that one. A bunch of tattoos. Facial adornment stuff. I can't even remember how many. A personality and even a piece of furniture for your house.
Let's go up here.
Cool. So this is an
crafting
area we
sensation.
haven't shown during any of our ESO live shows before. This is Suran. Are you able to tell us a little bit about
Oh, look,
this
it's
area?
it's a Nixox.
Oh, cool.
I got a buddy on me too.
Everything
and
is
oh
very
boy, lots of Nick sounds. So, mind you, he's a 3rd level here with very basic abilities. And like we said, yeah, you really can do this. And that
believe
watch,
in
he'll
you,
probably
Rich.
die at this point. But
Oh,
No dev commands.
no dev commands. Woo!
yeah,
Yay.
You killed bugs.
maybe most people don't want to try and get a 3-pole all at once. But part of the goal is yes, when we if you come out of the box and you want to play, you can do this. And so now he's coming over to one of the special crafting areas. So for sets, there'll be 3 overland sets. There are 3 craftable special sets, of which he's now showing off one. I don't even remember which this one is.
This is the assassin one, isn't it?
Probably,
Assassin, yeah.
yeah. So it's the
Assassin's Go. This is spell crit, weapon crit, spell damage, and weapon damage.
yeah. See, this is items. This is not content, so I don't know any of that. But they're also so there are 3 overland sets that drop in. You can get there are the 3 crafting sets. The battlegrounds offer 5 sets, and the trial offers 4 more sets. Meanwhile, and for crafters, they can also get motifs for Morag Tong, the buoyant armiger look, the militant ordinator, and then the new Ashlander styles that are used in Vardenfell. So there's a lot of stuff just for customization that people have. And I think you're headed over towards. Are you headed over towards the group boss?
Not intentionally.
You're gonna solo that boss?
No.
That might not work so well for a 3rd level.
Hey Zeb, are there sky shards also in Varden?
Yes, there are sky shards. In fact, we kind of skipped over one that he could have grabbed and stayed a Neen.
What a noob.
Yeah, I know.
I want to get out and explore. Yeah, see, there's the world boss. I
Yeah.
am purposely
There's the world
not
boss.
going
Don't
there.
go there; he'll kill you.
I want to go.
Hey, can you get close enough to see him without having
without
aggro?
aggroing him.
Isn't he in the cave?
He's in the cave, so if you go just to the entrance of the cave, he might not
And
aggro.
sneak.
If he
Just a
aggroes,
peek.
you're a dead man, so it'll be great.
Ooh, exploration level.
Here we go. Let's see. Oh, there he is.
Is
yeah.
it a hunger?
That's
or-
the hunger. Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the new monsters we got, and he's really cool. And
And we'll eat
But I
your
don't want to
face.
die.
Well, he can't see you if
Yeah.
you're behind that fog.
All right, I'm going for it.
oh, you are so doomed.
Oh, he hits like a
end
dump
well.
truck.
All right, I baited him into this.
What was that? 2 hits?
You didn't even hit him.
Maybe for 10K.
Wow.
Oh. Back to the
Well.
witch run. I'm not cheating, just saying.
You have died.
And so basically, this again, if you pull up the map, so we're up here in Suran. This is really the central area. You've got the Bitter Coast off over to the west, and that goes up through there, and that's where Balmora is. Way up to the north is Nisus, and then
Too much
To the
apple
other
juice.
side is Telmora in a public dungeon. I'm making him do the visual tour here. And then all that little house out there, that stuff that's a player house you can get out by Sadrith Mora. That's a real cool player house someday you'll be able to get. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff that, and then all down through there is the Ashlands. Lots and lots of places
in
to
there, yeah.
explore. So, I don't know. Anything else?
Questions, comments?
Just to kind of provide some clarification, once Morrowind launches, if you're an existing player, you can just kind of hop right into this area. If you want to get into Battlegrounds, you still have to be at least level 10, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
we want you to have a chance of survival.
Sure. And how would one go about joining a Battleground?
The best way, or the way, and I'm not level 10 yet, so it's not there, is open up the group and activity finder, and then there's a battleground section there. And so you can just click that, and then you can
queue up for it?
up, and away you go.
And if you
Okay.
go to Vivek City, there's a battleground camp just outside of it where you can pick up daily quests for it.
Yep.
And
Is that the
you
only
know,
place for 'em
What?
right now?
To pick up the quest? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's actually a vendor on the way, right kind of near this guy, over here, somewhere around this boss,
Yeah.
that sells some elite PvP gear, or gear that's more themed around PvP stuff.
Okay.
I apologize in advance. I don't know the answer to this question. I see a lot of people asking about Sheogorath and
Oh, Sheogorath up north.
what's going on. Where is it? Is it even here?
We, at this point, basically, we did not include Sheogorath because, frankly, we had a really lot of territory, big amount of territory to do.
To cover, yeah.
And it was just beyond our capabilities at the time to do.
only
We'd
do
love
so
to
much.
come back in some point. It might happen. You never know.
Okay. Well, at least
Ouch.
people
I should
know.
block. Okay, I'll loot.
And yes, you are a murder hobo.
Yep.
So, Zeb, how many, like we saw one of the world bosses, which is one of the examples of content you probably don't want to solo. You could if you're maybe
At
a little
least
more
at level
powerful,
3.
but you might
Yeah.
want to bring some friends.
Yeah.
What other group content?
So we have
Public
pretty much a lot of
dungeons
the very zone kind of things that you expect. We have 6 of the world bosses.
6? Wow.
Yeah, that are scattered throughout the zone. There's the trial, obviously.
Right.
But
And that's for 12 players.
Yep.
yeah, that's a big. There are 2 public dungeons, which have got. Again, within those, there's some fairly hefty wave event.
And
big
anybody
event,
can run
group
into
event
those,
stuff.
and
Yep.
you don't
Anybody
even
can
have
go
to
in a
group
public
up. You can
dungeon
just
and, you know,
kind of run
and-
alongside people.
Yep,
Yeah.
you could just go in and play.
So
How-
there's a fair amount of stuff already.
How do people go into the trial if they'd like to try it?
So if you go into the trial, I can.
Like, is there a place to walk up to, or do
There
you
is.
just queue for it?
Both?
Right about, see that little road that goes to the coast? No, not down there. See that? No, other side.
Over here?
Yeah, that little road right
Just
there.
give them a mouse.
Oh, it's right in around here, isn't it?
No, it's out on that little island right over there. No.
Oh, right. There.
No. It's right there. See that little thing right there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where Telfir is. But then there's also, if you go to Vivek City, there's a person that will
store.
take you out there, so that you don't have to run all the way out there.
Okay.
And I think however there are other ways to enter the trial that I'm sure I don't remember.
that one you
some
definitely
people-
need 12 people for, though.
Yeah, you definitely should. There's some people asking about character copy. For Monday, we are staying with European mega server characters, so just kind of how it's been for the past 2 weeks. That's how it will continue to be. There's not going to be name conflicts or anything. We're not switching it back over to NA. We're just leaving it as EU for now. And we will be showing off.
Oh, no, Rich.
Die again.
Come on, Rich.
Are you able to go just walk right into the trial area? I saw some people asking. Are you able to do that as a solo player? Just kind of walk in and take a look real quick and leave?
I honestly don't know exactly.
You can walk in.
You can go in. You'll probably die
Rich.
horribly, but
Come on, Rich.
I should interrupt that guy.
Yeah. Yay!
Nice work.
wow.
Templar OP.
Nice work. We will be showing off the trial in a future ESO Live.
Yep.
We'll be showing off some of the public dungeons in a future show. You know, everyone's anxious to see them.
Yeah, for those of you who saw our Mauve
Oh, wait,
Lorcage
where are you at? Where
walkthrough,
are you
we'll
at?
do
Turn
something
around.
similar.
Right near Vivek.
Oh, okay. Go to the west a little bit. Right about where. Right about there.
You're getting attacked.
Oh, or get attacked again. You know, stand around and
Oh, it's
get
only
jumped.
one guy. You can deal with this.
So, like other zones, like what we started with Rothgar, there is a collection kind of a quest thing
fun.
that goes on in here, where basically you need to go find a number of unlocated tombs and bring back, kind of evidence of the location. And like we've done now with other ones, we don't tell you where those locations are, so it's one of those fun things you get to go hunt for. And it has a really cool reward when you get done with it. I will just say that.
That's awesome.
Oh, and once we're in early access on the 22nd, the NDA will be lifted. So you don't have to worry about that anymore.
So we look forward to seeing your streams and your guides and your videos.
Everyone go nuts.
And
So where are you guys headed now?
Well, I am following my pip and going back to my ancestral tomb that I'm being directed to.
okay, turn and here.
I'm right here.
Yeah, turn and look south a little bit. Look down there. Basically, it's either there. I can't remember if it's there or it's on the other side. By the way, keep running around. It's over towards Vivek City. I remember that.
I feel
gonna
like
try and find one of
I'm
the
getting a
tombs.
preview of
Yeah.
walking around a city you guys both don't know.
No, go that way. No,
No,
turn
left.
so much.
No, not that
No,
left.
I know you.
Let me
There,
do
right?
it.
Canadian left.
I know you guys. You guys
Should
have played through
look
these
for a
areas a lot though,
Ah,
All right, see, I'm gonna just keep running him in circles hopelessly.
and he's just gonna mine.
why not?
It's fun,
wander around.
I don't get to do this to my boss all that often.
There's the back side. There's the back side of Vivek,
Yeah.
or the front side.
Yeah, so if you look up this one, ooh, yeah, that's a cliff strider. Oh, what, you're not gonna kill it? You kill everything else.
Of course I'm going to kill it. Kill it with fire. There we go.
I so wanted to do the quest where we had some guy throwing little baby cliff striders out and going, fly!
There you go. There you go. So I found the tomb.
Yep. So these are the things that you can just find and you can interact with, and later, once you kind of get the quest and learn about it, you can turn them in. And I didn't give away with that one because that's the first one he sends you to, so you know what
Hey,
you're
here's
looking
your favorite
for.
bug, Zeb.
Oh, it's the
Is
shroom
that the
beetle.
mushroom?
This is the mushroom beetle. Oh, well, I can't see him very well. How about this guy? Oh, dang it.
We need to get those as pets.
He's in the trees. Or in
Yeah.
the grass. But
So
yeah, they're
when I
really
said I
cool.
wanted a shroom beetle, they all thought I was a little crazy. But then Concept
No, they
said,
look great.
said, okay, we can do that. And
Well, unless there's any other locations you want to show people. I mean, this
I
was
think we're
kind
just
of a
running around
good.
goofing off now.
This was
Whoa,
who's that?
a traveler.
Oh, hello.
Maybe I should go kill that traveler.
Oh, no, don't.
Oh,
That traveler was going to have enough trouble.
There we go.
No, I think you ought to turn around about now.
I should turn
Aw, and you're a murderer.
I'm a
Okay,
murderer
maybe,
now.
yeah, now you're a murderer.
Oh, he was running away from the cliff strider.
Yeah, see, he was
He was just
perfectly
trying to save his
innocent.
life, and Rich was like, nope.
You might think you suffer.
Oh, no. There we go. And now everybody has a glimpse into what kind of player I am.
Rich the Savage.
The savage.
So we hope that gave you guys a good look at what you can do on your first day in ESO Morrowind. Of course, that was just a tiny bit. We didn't hop into the battlegrounds or the trial or
There's public dungeons to take part in. There is a lot.
Really,
to
yeah,
do.
they really, and the art team and the world building team just made these places fabulous and,
Yeah, they're great.
and gigantic.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the show and this little sneak peek of what you can expect to see in the next few weeks. We will be back in 2 weeks on May 26th, 3
right
p.m.
after early access.
Right after early
Yes.
access.
We're going to be talking about the influential groups and some of the influential people that are better in Morrowind, that are in Morrowind. Maybe we can get Lawrence on the show. It's been a while
Ooh.
since.
Oh, have Zeb and Lawrence?
Oh, that'd be glorious.
You know what? There were some people
My
in
hair is
chat
not as
asking.
silver as his.
They really
That's a
wanted
good
Lawrence
idea.
on.
Zeb and Lawrence show? Yeah.
Zeb and Lawrence.
It's happening.
Done.
It's gonna happen. Zeb's like,
Zeb's like, damn it.
Oh my God.
He didn't have any plans in 2 weeks, right?
his plan is to be right here at 3 o'clock.
All right, thank you all so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you in early access on the 22nd.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.